Hi everybody, I'm Violet, CEO and co-founder of Lunch Actually Group and sometimes also known as Cupid. And today I have with me Melinda, and she's our relationship manager from Puraj, which is our high-end matchmaking arm. And today our topic is actually going to be, can you be friends with your ex? Yeah, so maybe before we start, like Melinda, what do you think? Like from your personal experience, are you actually friends with your ex?
Yes. Yeah.
I won't make things awkward by asking
Okay,
you how
how
many
many?
ex you have. So
Okay.
maybe you can share with us your experience.
Okay. I am friends with my ex. I think it depends on how you actually end the relationship. I think it was amicable how we ended our relationship. So, it was like a natural progression that we just became friends again. So it wasn't anything bitter or anything to be upset about. So yeah, so it was okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's okay to be friends.
Okay, so for me, it's like I am Facebook friends with my exes, but I think like in the truest sense of friends, I don't think we are really friends because we do not really connect with each other regularly, or we don't like kind of message each other or things like that. But I mean, of course, if they want to see what's happening in my life, they can see it through my Facebook, and if I want to, I can do that on Facebook as well.
Can't stop them.
So I don't. So
How do you stop you?
I don't know. but I'm always very amazed by people who, like, during their wedding, like they actually have one whole table of all their exes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What table?
Yeah, and all the exes know each other and they actually get along well with each other. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, very unique.
So I'm not sure whether our viewers today, any of you have these experiences as well. Okay, so actually, right, I think like definitely a lot of people have different thoughts on this, like yes or no. However, in America there was this survey that was done, and half of men, so about 50% men and maybe 42% women, reported that they would actually stay friends with their exes after the breakup. So that's
Interesting.
actually, like, I guess about half and half.
Yeah,
But
almost.
interesting to note, once I saw this statistic was that how come men are more open to being friends with their exes as compared to women, even though it's just 8% difference. Yeah.
That's true.
So researchers from Midwestern University actually say that it might boil down to 4 different factors on whether like a couple after they break up, whether they will continue to become friends. So the 4 factors are actually security, practicality, civility, and also unresolved romantic desires. Yeah. So when I saw these 4 points, I immediately zoomed into unresolved romantic desires.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Unresolved romantic desires. I don't know, like some fantasy they did not live through with each other, maybe. Yeah, or yeah, I don't know.
So I mean, from your experience, right, do you feel that sometimes like clients that we meet, they kind of have this fantasy of the what if? Yeah, and the what if or that fantasy is usually better than what it was.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
So
I think so.
yeah, so I think a lot of times, like, people have this idea, it's like, oh, it's like actually it was really good, it's like maybe, like that's why unresolved, like
Yeah.
romantic desires, oh, if only we get back together. So maybe by staying as friends, maybe they harbor that hope of potentially getting back together.
Yes, I think so. I think it's a bit more. Yeah, it's like the hope. They want something to be fulfilled. It's not being fulfilled, so they will still hang on.
Like
and
trying to look for that
try.
closure.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So what would you usually say to them, like in such scenarios?
I think I would want to know, like, is it mutual? Like both sides, are they not hostile with each other? If they are probably okay, I think it's alright to just keep in touch first. And I don't usually think it's a good idea to get back together, like if they already have issues there. But it's good to, of course, settle them as friends, and then then just see where it takes them from there. Yeah.
Okay. So I think, like, from what you have mentioned, that it's okay to stay as friends. But do you think, like, maybe there are boundaries? Like, what are the boundaries that after 2 people break up, like, how should they go about being friends?
Personally, I think there would be boundaries. yeah, like the meetups one to one again, and if it happens too often, I think you'll go back to a very natural feeling of it's like when they were together. So I think it's a very human thing that we just tend to fall back into something that we were comfortable with in the past. So I think some kind of boundaries will still need to be set.
And I think like it gets usually a bit more complicated when one party ends up like dating someone else, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Because I guess at first for these two people they are just so comfortable being with each other, and maybe they don't even think about it, and then they are just like, oh, we are just friends. There's nothing like romantic between us anymore, and they are just so comfortable. But I think when like another person have a partner, and then they'll be like, are you sure? Like I have like my women instincts, or like guy instincts, and like I think the person still hold a torch for you.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, the feeling I don't think actually goes away. Yeah, I think we still remember that feeling, but whether or not they want to move forward with that feeling, but I think they had that feeling, so I think it's hard to let go. Yeah.
Okay, so okay, now we'll play a game.
Okay,
so the game is just you and I. And
So
maybe
fun.
like
So win or lose.
our viewers also would like to take part in this game. So this game is very simple. It's just called agree or disagree.
Okay.
So we are going to, like say a few statements related to today's topic, which is, like how do you stay friends with your ex, or should you be, like staying friends with your ex, right? Okay, so the first statement is staying friends with an ex will actually inhibit you from new relationships and experiences. Wow. Don't have maybe. So I think if I have to choose, I also will choose disagree. Yeah. So why do you disagree?
Okay, so I disagree. Because it didn't inhibit me from moving on. Yeah, I think it was an experience. I learned from it, and actually it helped me to move forward faster. In fact, knowing what I want or I don't want. So I think I disagree.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I disagree as well. Like, so it took me a while to come to this decision because I think like I also couldn't agree, because I feel that ultimately it's up to the person. It's not so much about the ex. Yeah. So I think ultimately you need to, like you say, just move on. Like, even though you're a friend with this person, it shouldn't inhibit you. And I think like if you're going to let things like being friends with exes or like any other things like can't inhibit us from moving on, then the problem might not be the ex, but it might be ourselves. Yeah. Okay, so our second statement for agree or disagree is it's crucial to only pursue friendships when the romantic spark between the two parties has disappeared or faded. Agree or disagree?
Okay, so that's to pursue friendship with each other.
Yes. Okay.
Wow, I want the maybe now. Okay, I'm gonna agree.
It's important, I feel. Yeah, because I think when there's that still that in Chinese we have this saying like, oh, 断四联. I'm not sure how to say that in English. Yeah, but basically the idea is it's just like it cannot be torn apart. And when there's still feelings, and I think when people when first they break up and the wound is still fresh, because usually breakup is like one party initiated it, right? But the other party might still want to be in that relationship, and if then they already both start to be friends, of course the party that initiated it might be fine with that, but the other party might kind of see it as like false hope. Yeah, so I think it's important to just for both parties to just cool off, to just find back that balance in their life, and when they are completely like, okay, I've moved on, I'm happy, and yes, I think it's a good time to pursue a friendship.
Okay, I agree with Violet. Yes. Yeah, I think as long as both sides are pretty clear that they are, when they break up, both of them are kind of happy, with the process, then I think it's okay to be friends. But then, like what Violet said, usually could be one side may still harbor a bit of feelings and they still want to get back. So then yes, the false hope part will actually not be good for both of them lah, moving down the road as friends. Yeah, so I think I agree with that.
Okay, so finally, the last part is maybe we can give some advice to our viewers out there that might be struggling with this right now. Like maybe they have just broken up and then they are like, okay, should I, like be friends with my ex? Like should I like unfriend them on Facebook? Yeah, or maybe like they have broken up for a while and suddenly their ex pop out of nowhere and then add them as a friend. Yeah, so I think these are very real situations that probably our viewers might face. So what are your thoughts?
I always think there's no rush to everything. I mean, of course, unless we're trying to find the other person. But other than that, after we break up, I think it's good to have space. It's good to have time to think about being by yourself, to reflect on what went through in the past. Don't dwell on the negative things. It's good to be positive and move on, but I think space is good first, and then from there, then you see if both sides are open to just starting off fresh as friends, very superficially first. I would think that is better, and then then please go ahead. If let's say they have broken up for a while and then they are both happily with other partners, and then each other adds each other, I think if they are pretty happy in the relationships they are at now, then I think that is fine, right? Just to accept each other as friends on Facebook. It's not that, unless they initiate to meet up, and very often then that will be another problem lah. So I think it's always okay to have time off, then everything cool down, then just then just maybe let it progress as natural as possible as friends.
So thank you, Melinda, for sharing that. And also just one more tip for our viewers. Actually, Facebook has thought about all of this. Yeah. So actually, Facebook have a function that you can actually limit like photos or like updates from people. Yeah, because I guess because I guess when you have been in a relationship for a long time, right? Like you're probably tagged in many photos, you're probably together in a lot of things. Yeah, so I think Facebook understood that. So there is actually such a function. So maybe if you're in such a situation, you can actually check that out.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out too.
So thank you so much for joining us on this episode. We'll be back again, and if you have any other questions for us that you would like us to discuss about or to share more with you, please feel free to just drop a comment in the comment box and let us know what that topic is. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.